You asked for it. Here it is, the deck that destroys the Gyarados deck.
Wow.
This is a deck that will absolutely make their life miserable if they're learning that Gyarados deck. Let's go over it. So it's very simple. You have Hitmonlee to start. So you want this as your starter first in the hand. We'll explain why in a minute. Already with 1 energy if you go second. If they put down the tiny Magicarp, turn 1. So that's, or they're gonna be scared and sweaty the whole time. Oh my god, I can't put down my Magicarp. They have to wait until they have Gyarados in their hand or they cleaned up house with your Hitmonlee. After that, what you want to do, slowly but surely build up this guy. It should be on the bench and just slowly start putting energy on it. But your main thing is the primal law, which is that your opponent can't play Pokemon from their hand to evolve their active
Pokemon.
So that is actually huge if you play it right with Sabrina, and especially if you play it right with your
Hitmonlee.
because you want to switch it up back and forth. What's active, what's not active, what's gonna evolve, what's not gonna evolve. You have so many targets that you can use with Hitmonlee. The secret weapon of this deck, and you will see why when I showcase it in the matches, is Mew. Mew EX is so good because you see the genome hacking. You can pick any attack of the opponent. But in the active spell, of course, only unfortunately too broken if you can pick any Pokemon. Which again, you have Sabrina, so you can adjust and tweak. When you're using Sabrina, just think ahead on the long game. Don't just rush and play every single thing in your hand. Now the other thing, if you have a bad hand but you have Mew at least to put down, what you want to do with Mew when you play defense is you put it on the front in the active, collect as much damage as possible on the Mew and plan on picking that thing up right there. Because here's the thing, especially if it gets poison, if you play against some other deck, you max out, get to 100 HP, whatever, and then when you know the next turn you're gonna be knocked out, you just basically put your Mew EX from the active spot into your hand. Tada! All the damage is gone. Start over, fresh Mew. There's so many combinations you can play with this deck. That's why I like it. This requires you to think about a little bit more how you're gonna play your end game against so many different decks. It works against SNIPE as well. SNIPE, Celebi. It mainly hard counters the Gyarados deck, or at least makes their life miserable. So I hope you like it. It is not my creation. Who recommended it to me? The same person who actually recommended to me the hard counter Celebi deck, which is Kyle Stablehouse. That's right, the caster.
Who himself.
He loves toxic decks and he knows my style. Make sure to test this deck, let me know what you think about it, and I will create some more for you. So let's get to the battles. Going first is unfortunate for this team. You actually want to go second, but it's almost with every single deck you want to go second in this game, just want to point out there. And it's also unfortunate that you don't have your Hitmonlee as the lead. Unfortunately, we don't even have it in our hand. So we have a bad hand and we're going first. We do have a Professor Research, 2 of them actually, so it's not the worst absolutely hand, but it's pretty bad. We got a Pokeball and we got a Budding Explorer. Now this is the combo sandwich that you're actually going to looking for. You have your Hitmonlee, so what you need to do is do not put it down. Oh my god, okay, so here's, if the opponent knows what deck we are playing and what we're aiming for, he will not put down now his Magicarp.
Oh, he doesn't know!
Okay, this is really good for us, because our Magicarp is done. We are good. Maybe he doesn't know that we can switch and engage, because here's the trick. Maybe he thinks that we need to put down an energy to retreat the Mew, or we don't have XP, there's so many different scenarios. This is really good for us, because, again, the way you play the Magicarp deck, the Gyarados, is that you need to have Drudrigon on lead, so you can build up your Gyarados in the back, because it only has 30 HP. So this is when this card, Budding Explorer, comes into hand that almost nobody knows about. You throw it down, you pick up your Mew, you bring forward Hitmonlee, outage for the same turn, and boom shakalaka, absolutely just knock it out, that freaking Magicarp, just like that, ladies and gentlemen. We already up 1 point. Gyarados deck or what? Oh, sorry, I should say Gyarados killer deck or what? Oh my god, this is so freaking awesome. If they play the OG, like basically Drudrigon setup, and they have to leave it there up front so they have time to set up their bench, then you easily win, especially if they don't know the lead deck. So the reason why I made a mistake, because I really needed to have, and we still pray they don't hit all the heads. If they hit all the heads on the Gyarados, then in turn 1, you're screwed, you just lost. But then you lost against any deck. I mean, that deck beats anything if you get like 4 heads in a row in turn 1. There's just no way you can set up. Anyways, and your second goal here is that you set up the Aerodactyl as soon as possible so the active Pokemon cannot evolve. And if it can't evolve, what you need to do is you use your Sabrinas to bring forward the Froakie, or force with your Aerodactyl to have the Gyarados, aka Magicarp, on the bench. Because if they bring it forward, you're gonna knock it out. If they leave it on the bench, you're gonna lock it out. So they are basically locked out and forced by you. And you basically, it's almost like a control deck. Not only a control deck, well, in this small, game, it's a control deck.
I like to call it a control deck, okay?
I know what the comments are gonna be like, Z, this is not even a real TCG game. Nah, I'm just kidding. They're nobody gonna say that. Anyways, getting back to the actual deck. There's so many combo options. This is so much fun to play, especially when you play the Gyarados deck against. But I will show you other teams. I will face I will face Electric, I will face SNIPE in the video, so you can actually see how to play against different matchups. But it absolutely slaps against the Gyarados. Although I'm gonna point out that I did make a few mistakes and I got unlucky. I've got really unlucky and I actually lost one of the matches against the Gyarados. It still happens, okay? It's not 100% win rate, but it's 99.999%, But anyways, so obviously this game is already over. It's just boom shakalaka. But I want to point out everything that you use your Gyarados, you slowly build up everything, and your Mew is supposed to be on a bench. But let's say if you have a really bad hand, what you want to do is you bring your Mew forward, you collect about 120 damage on Mew if you can, if it aligns, but lots of damage, as much as you can per turn on Mew, and then you use the budding trainer, pick up the Mew, and all the damages are removed. If it's paralyzed, if it's fall asleep, poison, whatever, you can just pick up your Mew, beat that trainer 2 times in a match, because you have 2 of those trainers in your deck, and then you can clean house. It's such a cool thing. You don't even need potion for a Mew, because you can heal 120 basically. 130 will be knocked out, so 120 damage off of your Mew, and it's a free retreat, and the same turn you can put it back down on the bench. But again, you suspect that you need it and they're able to set up your Gyarados, then you want to build up your Mew. You do 3, attach 3, slowly but surely attach 3 energy to your Mew, because once they knocked out your Aerodactyl, which is your main attacker, once you cannot do anything with Hitmonlee anymore, just sniping, or the Hitmonlee is knocked out, then your Aerodactyl is your main attacker, and then when they make a move with the Gyarados coming forward, you bring forward your Mew, and you right off the bat just knock it out, one-shot the Gyarados. It's as simple as that. This deck just works so well against the Gyarados deck and many others, and it's a winner chicken dinner! Round 2 against the same opponent. And as I mentioned before, I literally had to go into the office to find an opponent because it was actually hard to queue up against Gyarados. I did 27 matches or something, and eventually I just started conceding them so I can finally queue up against the Gyarados. So I don't know if Gyarados is still as common as before, but if you're struggling against Gyarados deck and you want a fun deck, you want to use this deck. Anyways, so this is not, now they learned obviously how our decks work, so this is as bad as it can be, the setup, because now we have our Hitmonlee up front, but they put down a Magicarp, so okay, that's cool. We can still snipe it in turn 1, so this looks actually really good for us. We're going second, right? Yeah. So we can just attach and basically get rid of that Magicarp, so we got a free win, or I mean a free knockout right off the bat, which we'll obviously gladly take. We have our Mew, we have our bench looking pretty good. Now we just see the Aerodactyl set up and we are looking actually pretty good. So this is not bad. The only thing that could absolutely wreck us, if they have a Misty in their hand and they roll like 6 heads or 4 heads or something, at least 4 heads, or 3, because they can attach 1 and 3 rolls, then they would have 4 and they could knock us out and basically they win this. So let's hope they don't have that Misty and then we are looking pretty good. But other than that, everything is good. Oh! That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Damn it! We lost. It's as simple as that. They come in and they're gonna clean house. They're gonna knock it out. Damn, dude, this is really bad. Holy crap. See, just like that. You're supposed to hard counter this deck, but there's just not enough time for us now to set up here. Like, literally, we can't do anything. So we obviously put down our Mew, but we have no energy attached to anything. The only thing we can do is pray. But there is nothing we can do. Literally nothing. We have to put down our Hitmonlee. There's not, literally I'm just like, oh my god, there's nothing I can do. All I can do is put down Hitmonlee, use the cards, pick up Mew, because I can't retreat, but It's just not working. I mean, we can retreat, you don't have to use the card, but I ended up using the card for whatever reason, so I pick it up instead of like... I don't know why I even used that, honestly, but at this point I was like, oh, the game is already over. So I just did that. We put the Mew back down. We have no cards in our hand. Oh, I know why I did it, because I didn't want to... Maybe somehow he reshuffles us, and then we have no good cards anyways, because now we have 0 cards. So usually I try to use all the cards that I can, so if I get reshuffled, I don't get the bad cards back in the deck that I have no use for anymore. So thinning the deck is what I call it, and usually I try to focus on thinning the deck so I get the cards that I actually need. Now we have to bring up the Aerodactyl. The only Hail Mary we could do here if we pull a Sabrina, which we did pull a Sabrina, so this is actually good, because we use a Sabrina. If he brings forward the Drudrigan, which he does, then he cannot, unless he has the card for the 2 free retreats, he cannot retreat. So he's stuck right now. So this is really good for us. This gives us some time to set up, but it's... Never mind. He has the card! Okay, we lost this match. So as I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, you can't win them all. You're gonna lose some, but you lose with style and good dignity. This match, we are going second, which is perfect for us. You wanna go second, and we're going against an electric deck, I believe. And I wanted to test it out against how we would do against this deck, so I left it in there because we pull up a Hail Mary in this. That also just showcases that how good this deck is, and you have so many options, even when you would think, or the opponent even thinks, that you have lost. Because the Mew can really pull some Hail Marys in the back, and I explained exactly why in this video, in this match, so you can actually see that this deck has actually a really good potential against the entire meta, not just the Gyarados. So, I faced so many decks, by the way, with this, and of my win rate, I would say about 78% against every single meta, which is good. You can climb ladder with 78%. Anyways, this is a pretty okay hand. I mean, we won our Mew, there we go, we got our Mew, so this is basically the best setup you can actually have. You have 2 Aerodactyls, but you don't really need 2, you just need 1. A Hitmonlee is more useful for sniping purposes. Now I can't even put it down, but I already have 1 there, so I'm not in a hurry to have it, at least it's in my hand. So I don't have to worry about basically getting it when I don't need it, because I already have it. But anyways, so now we're also forcing the opponent that they have to do something, even evolve it or swap it out, because with Hitmonlee we can actually one-shot it in next turn. Okay, they do evolve it, so now we have to be careful with that, obviously, because it can attach energy, right? Is that what it is? I can't remember what its ability. But anyways, so what we're aiming for is obviously just sniping the bench while we're slowly setting up our Mew. But we're not focusing on our Mew yet, we are actually focusing on our Aerodactyl. We just really need to get Aerodactyl. If he had the Aerodactyl in game, then he wouldn't have not been able to evolve that Raichu. But that Raichu, I wanted to see what it does, because we are not looking great, as you can see, because we only have 40 HP, but at least you can discard those at any time in the game, which is great, if, you know, in case threats. Wait, would that hit? It's X like a basic Pokemon, so yeah, it could hit it. So we bring it up right off the bat because we don't want to... I mean, I should have brought up the Mew, honestly, but I brought it up because I can discard it anyways, and I don't need both of them. That's why. So I'm thinning now my bench just as like an X option, I should say, because I already completely filled it up, and I didn't want to lose an energy per turn, if that makes sense. So now, what we're gonna do here is, because we still have the Hitmonlee, and we can still hit the bench, we're gonna evolve on our bench, and we're probably gonna bring back the Hitmonlee, but first removing that right there, right? I'm pretty sure that's what I'm doing. At least that's what I would do right now if I'm watching. Okay, there we go. Discard, bring up the Hitmonlee, and then hit the bench again, because then it's only 20 HP less. And in next turn we can knock it out, because there's no way, at least I don't think he can knock us out in next turn. So we do get our free knockout in the following turn. And he's probably waiting for a Zapdos, is what he's waiting for, right? That should have a Zapdos in his deck. I think that's its main attacker, he just doesn't have it yet. That's what I'm thinking. So he doesn't have like the best hand at play, and he still can attack with that. So we're looking, there's the Gyarados EX. Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's a really good Pokemon, and it attacks pretty good. I mean, it does deal heavy freaking damage, but this is good for us. Okay, he heals up to 40, so that's not the greatest thing for us, but it's still fine, because all we're gonna do, we're playing this slow so we can build up our Mewtwo. because now I'm already suspect that we're gonna have to use our Mewtwo. So we pull up our pretty looking Aerodactyl, we set up our Aerodactyl, so now we can do two things. We Sabrina up something that he brings up right off the bat, which we are hoping that he would bring forward the one that we can knock out. He brings up the Zapdos, which is also fine, because we have to lower the health on the Zapdos anyways. So, but we're not gonna do that, because obviously, if we bring forward, you see Zapdos attack, what it can do? It does way too much damage for the energy cost that it will do, and I'm very afraid that I'm gonna lose my Aerodactyl against it, and that would be +2 not price cards points. But he's gonna use it anyway, so he's gonna swap out and bring up probably the Raichu back, and then now can he even attach for the third? Is it did he attach it? Yeah, he haven't attached it. He's gonna attach, and he's gonna do actually pretty good damage to us. Oh, the Volt, that's what it does. Okay, I knew it was a charge up thing, but now we can knock it out in the next turn unless he's able to knock it out, but he cannot. So this is really good for us, because next turn it's worth for me to actually get Hitmonlee knocked out, for in return knocking out their opponent on the bench, so he can't loses all the energy that he attached, and he no longer can also charge it up. So this is perfect for us. So we're knocking out right now. We basically trade 1 for 1, which is totally fine for me, because now my goal is to knock out their Gyarados EX. And the way I can do that is I will come up. Oh, he has Pikachu too, but it doesn't matter. Our focus is Gyarados EX. That's what we need to knock out. And obviously we need one more Pokemon, so we need to get rid of the Raichu. So now he knocked out one, so we cannot bring up the Mew yet. I mean, we could bring up the Mew, and we could basically tank one, and then use basically a trainer, but we're not gonna do that because we need to build up our Mew. We already attached 1 energy to it, we only need 2 more turns, and we get up there. So what we're gonna do, we can use blue, so it's -10 at least. We attach to the Mew, so in 1 turn, we're gonna able to actually use the Mew, but we only wanna bring forward the Mew if the Zapdos come forward. That's our main goal here, because we can knock out his Zapdos, but easy peasy, and that's all we need. We need the Zapdos knockout, and we win this game. So what we want to do is we want to bait him to come forward with his Zapdos. That's what we want. Or we get a Sabrina, and we bait him to bring the Zapdos forward. These are our options. But he's not bringing the Zapdos at all, he's building up the Pikachu to begin with. So yeah, this is a little tricky. This is gonna be a real tricky game. And we have to be careful, because Aerodactyl will give him 2 points, and so is the Mew. So we have to be very careful how I'm gonna play this out. I already have an endgame in my hand, how I'm gonna win this, but do you have that endgame in your hand right now? Boy, this was a really cool match. It went on forever, as you can see. He finally brought forward the Pikachu, so he cannot knock us out at least, so, which is really good for us. So he's gonna get really close though. He's gonna get really close with the Pikachu. But we are still okay. So nothing to worry about here, ladies and gentlemen. And we are gonna end up actually winning this match, believe it or not. So all we need is 1 more energy on the Mew, and we can copy the opponent's attack. And here, you can only do... Oh, wait a second. Wait a second! That is not good for us. Did you guys see that? Did you freaking see that? +10. Boom shakalaka! Good news is that he actually doesn't have 3 benched on 3 bench, so we are still okay. We got the Sabrina, so here's the game plan. Watch this. We're not attaching to the Mew, because we had to bait that Zapdos forward. So we play the Sabrina first in... Why did I just do that? Well, now we just pray and hope that he's not knowing what we were planning to do. So it brings us Zapdos forward, I believe, which is what we want. Beautiful. Now we come forward with our Mew, and then now we hope for the best. I'm flipping the coins. I don't think you realize that we're gonna come forward, retreat and come forward. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I made this mistake again. You don't want to attach to show the opponent what you're planning to do. I should have just used Sabrina first, and then attach. And now we do the pray right here, because we need 3. And we just won. We got 4, baby! Just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we just won. Did you expect that win? Yeah, some might call it luck. I just call it skill. Maybe you should get better at flipping coins. I get the flip out of here. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed these videos. I will try to do more for you. And as always, Shadow Z is out. And smash that like button